Good afternoon. It is my great pleasure and sincere honor to welcome you to the Baldwin School's 134th Commencement. We are here today to celebrate the class of 2022, an inspired and inspiring group of 66 girls who have brought their spirit and joy to Baldwin each and every day, and who will now carry beyond our gates their unique vision for making the world a better place. Thank you for joining our community on this special day. I am grateful to now invite Reverend Jo Ann Jones, Associate Rector at the Church of the Redeemer, to open our ceremony. Please stand and remain standing following her invocation to sing America the Beautiful.
Let us pray. Accept, O Lord, our thanks and praise for all that you have done for us. We thank you for the splendor of the whole creation, for the beauty of this world, for the wonder of life, and for the mystery of love. We thank you for the blessing of family and friends, teachers, coaches, advisors, and administrators of the Baldwin School, and for classes, assignments, lessons, exams, and tasks that demand our best efforts, leading us to accomplishments that satisfy, stretch, and even delight us. We thank you also for those disappointments and failures from which we learn and which contribute to our growth and maturity. We ask for your gracious hand to be upon all those who graduate today. They follow in the footsteps of many who came before them. Help them to stay true to their dreams, to use their gifts wisely, and to walk into the future with faith, hope, and great love. May the gifts you have given them assist in building community at home, at work, in the places where they live, creating harmony within and harmony between all people. Bless the Baldwin School, that it may ever continue to be an engaging center for sound learning, new discovery, and the pursuit of wisdom. And grant that those who teach and those who learn may find you to be the source of all truth. Father, I ask your blessings on these young women as they assume the challenge of a new beginning. Guide them and be with them on these new and wonderful journeys. Show them new ideas and assist in their exploration of new adventures. Encourage them as they grow and strengthen them to remain steady in their lives. Remind them daily that you have blessed them with plans for the future and hope for tomorrow. In your name I pray. Amen.
Please be seated. We are gathered today to honor our generous, caring, and oh so talented class of 2022, and to celebrate the enduring strength of our Baldwin community. It is a moment when we feel firsthand the power of a Baldwin education and take great pride as individuals and as an institution in the young women seated before us, as well as those underclassmen who are watching from above and are here to cheer on their big sisters. Of course, Baldwin's legacy, as represented by this class of blue, would not be possible with so many of you. So I'll start with heartfelt thanks to all the members of the Baldwin family whose influence I see each day and who have made a lasting impact on our graduates. To our Board of Trustees, thank you for providing the strategic guidance and support that is so essential for our school. You have each given selflessly of your time, expertise, and resources throughout this year and for many years until now. Your commitment to Baldwin and our Bears makes an enduring difference and, on a personal level, brings me great pride. On behalf of the entire school, please accept my sincere thanks. To our inspiring faculty and staff, every day I see you imagine new and improved ways to challenge our girls' thinking, to guide them with empathy and vision, and to build their self-confidence, to prepare them for any challenge they'll face. Your passion for giving our girls what they need in and out of class is unparalleled, as is the energy and spirit you bring to campus each day. Thank you for always giving above and beyond, and for modeling a true love of learning that ensures Baldwin remains a forward-thinking institution. This class of blue is prepared to make their mark on the world because of you. And on behalf of the entire school, and in particular this class of blue, my thanks to the parents, grandparents, and family members who are here today to celebrate this final step in your girls' Baldwin journey. Partnering with us in your daughter's education has required commitment, flexibility, and a steadfast belief in Baldwin. Thank you for supporting our teachers and trusting the school to shape your girls into the amazing young women before us. Soon-to-be graduates whose strength, confidence, and creative thinking will ensure they make a positive impact on our community and our nation in the years to come. You made it possible for your daughters to become their best Baldwin selves. I know each one of them is deeply grateful for your love, guidance, and unwavering support. Now to our graduates, this talented, kind, and so cohesive class of blue. As individuals and as a group, you have long stood out for your curiosity, your creativity, and most certainly for your enthusiasm. You were the class in lower school that was among the first to play the Boomwhackers at the spring concert, and who presented a hilarious version of 101 Dalmatians for your 5th grade play. Every performance you gave showcased a joy and exuberance that made onlookers smile. And yes, teachers still comment about Cruella de Vil's energetic performance in her wild faux fur coat. Years later, you were the group that brought cake to pre-calculus to help teach classmates about inverse functions. And when asked to use real-life examples to showcase the mechanics of free-fall objects in physics, chose to have oranges rain down from otherworldly locations like Cinderella's castle at Disney World. Staying inside the box was never for you. As a group, you have always looked for ways to do things differently and make every moment as fun as possible. You all brought that approach to life when the pandemic hit and we were forced to learn from home. The class of blue was known not just for being mature and flexible, but for remaining enthusiastic and engaged throughout, for still finding awe and wonder in labs, even though they were virtual, for bringing a positive energy that made a lasting difference, not just on your own experience, but of that of your classmates and teachers too. There is a long highlight reel of the class of 2022's time at Baldwin. And I haven't even mentioned how dominant you've been on the Powder Puff football field. I will neither confirm nor deny whether your game against Baldwin's faculty was canceled because of a scheduling issue or because we wanted to avoid playing you on the field. But what makes me most proud of this class of graduates is their ability, as individuals and as a group, to seize each and every opportunity and make the very best of any situation. When you couldn't have your junior prom, you planned a picnic for your grade instead. When the pandemic forced us to cancel Ring Day, the spring of sophomore year, you pioneered a new tradition, reinventing the day outdoors the next fall. These moments and more mean so much, more than you'd ever realize. They reflect how adept you've already become at a young age at using your enthusiasm, your creativity, and your glass is more than half full attitude to have impact as leaders, to help friends and even an entire school community step outside their comfort zone and try new things, to risk failure and, along the way, find great success. In other words, you have spent your time putting into practice a powerful life lesson. The idea that becoming your best self and reaching your greatest success requires the willingness to be a risk taker and be optimistic about the outcome along the way. That special combo will serve you well. It will shape your next steps and ensure you have a major impact on every community you join. It will make you influential leaders, favorite colleagues, and the most trusted of friends. It will help you leave your mark in the best way possible. This is why I am so excited to see our class of 2022 and where they head next. Not just because their Baldwin education gave them all the skills they need to succeed, but because along the way they have each developed a special superpower as joyful, optimistic risk takers. No matter what passion they pursue or what role they assume, they will leave their legacy. It's why I speak for every member of the Baldwin community when I say how proud I am of you all and how much I look forward to seeing the imprint you leave on the world. Congratulations to our extraordinary class of 2022. I cannot wait to cheer you on from here. It is now my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Grace Halleck. Grace joined Baldwin in pre-kindergarten, making her part of Baldwin's 14-year club. In other words, she has spent most of her life in a Baldwin tunic or kilt, and in that time, she has left an indelible mark on our community. Her classmates describe her as thoughtful, caring, and incredibly humble. Her teachers and advisors say she is a modern Renaissance woman, an artist, musician, athlete, scholar, and leader who wields all these talents with true humility and grace. She is the first to take on any challenge or major project, and the first to laugh at a good joke. She is expert when it comes to just dance, and is known for both writing papers that read like college-level essays and for her whiteboard doodling. I understand that her doodles of dinosaurs done in dry erase marker over lunch even prompted a favorite dinosaur poll for the whole upper school. Beyond the classroom, Grace's accomplishments range far and wide to include serving as editor of our Hourglass student newspaper, as a Germination Project Fellow, volunteering for a music program for underserved Philadelphia youth, and winning a Cappy for her work in the production of Marie Antoinette. but it's the integrity and care that Grace brings to all she does that stands out most. Her classmates selected her as their student speaker because whether it's in class, on the stage or soccer field, or chatting in the senior lounge, she encourages and supports her peers. Grace is respected and loved by them and is equally highly regarded by her teachers too. As one faculty member shared, and I quote, "I would be thrilled to have my daughters grow up to be like Grace." I agree. Please welcome Grace Halleck to the podium.
Past, present, and future. They all seem to converge on graduation as we celebrate our memories of the past while also looking forward to the days to come. So I thought I'd take some time to reflect on those three words and what they mean to me on this important day. So to begin, the past. As we got closer and closer to this moment, I began to get a strange feeling every so often. I began feeling nostalgic for my high school days, even as I was literally in the middle of them. It seems ridiculous for an 18-year-old to start feeling wistful for the good old days, but I swear that's what each day felt like. Small things would start bringing back a flood of inconsequential memories I had barely thought about before. For example, the smell of freshly mowed grass would send me to the middle field, crouching behind a tree during an advisory game of hide-and-seek on a bright, windy Tuesday, or nearly passing out during the beep test in my first preseason, or tilting my head back to watch the passing clouds, my lunch on my lap in a circle of folding chairs during one of those junior year outdoor lunches. Or the sight of cherry blossoms would, and always will, remind me of springtime at Baldwin, reading Frankenstein under the tree outside the north door, or throwing handfuls of fallen petals like confetti and combing them out of laughing friends' hair, or gazing out the window during math class at the heavy branches as they slowly shed their flowers to the wind. Little things like these would keep reminding me of my time here. I know that even years from now, blue couches will always remind me of the residents. Orange pants of any shade will always remind me of Dr. Biss. And Landslide by Fleetwood Mac will always remind me of you all. Although it's easier to reminisce about the big moments, dances, trips, traditions, our lives are made up of these smaller things. Things like escaping to the lounge for the precious 10 minutes between first and second period, or playing hangman on the whiteboards after school, rushing to the library to print an essay due in 2 minutes, peering excitedly out of the window when it snowed during a school day, whispering across the table in the library, running through the blue hallway, laughing in the bathroom, crying in the bathroom, singing on the bus, cheering on the bleachers, smiles, hugs, waves, shouts, hellos, thank yous, and goodbyes. Okay, I'll stop listing things now. But as I look back on my years here, it's the trivial routines and moments that seem the most important and beautiful, and that I'll miss the most. So, if I am permitted one piece of trite advice to the underclassmen here, it is to truly treasure the little things, because what means nothing to you now might mean everything to you later when you have to say goodbye to it. Next, the future. Most of us think of graduation as an ending, but the word commencement actually means beginning. To commence something is to start it, not to conclude it. And as much as this day is the end of one era, it's the beginning of another bigger stage in our lives. I like to think of the future as infinite. Rather than one predetermined path that we have yet to discover, there are infinite possible futures before all of us. And it is up to each of us to turn that infinity into a singular present that we can live out with pride and contentment. Although the future is always uncertain, if there's one thing that I'm sure about, it's that each and every one of you will build something beautiful in the coming years. One thing that I think I don't express often enough is how much I admire you all. You impress and inspire me constantly with how smart, talented, capable, and accomplished you are. But it goes beyond talent or intelligence, which you have tremendous amounts of. What strikes me most about our class is how kind and fundamentally good you all are. You are beautiful, good people, which is a rare and precious thing. In the worst of times, when everything shut down and it felt like the world was ending, you were the light in the darkness that kept me sane and grounded. Your humor and spirit were bright and infectious, even through a computer screen. If I hadn't been able to see you every day through Zoom, even if it was just sitting in silence in a breakout room for 20 minutes every day, I don't know what I would have done. You are especially meaningful to me because I've been at Baldwin since pre-kindergarten. You are the people I've grown up with, who I've seen every day for 14 years, who've watched me change and become a person. I'm so happy and proud that you are my peers and the people that I'm standing with today. And I know you'll continue to be the bright, wonderful, amazing people you are now as you live out the future ahead of you. And finally, I'll return to the present moment and briefly to cherry blossoms. The cherry trees at Baldwin are famous for their pink flowers, but they actually only bloom in full for 1 or 2 weeks of the entire year. The blossoms can only be enjoyed for a short time before waiting for the next season to arrive again. Thus, their beauty is fleeting. Or is it? Although most people only value the peaks of beauty, the climax, the high note, the full flowering, the transitory states of cherry blossoms, closed buds, and fading strewn flowers are a profound source of beauty themselves. A bud about to blossom suggests the beauty of a full flower, as do petals dropping in the wind. The blossom flower, on the other hand, leaves nothing to the imagination. A quote from Essays in Idleness by Yoshida Kenko goes, "Are we to look at cherry blossoms only in full bloom, the moon only when it is cloudless? Branches about to blossom, or gardens strewn with faded flowers are worthier of our admiration. In all things, it is the beginnings and ends that are interesting." And what is graduation, if not a beginning and an end, a transitory state between one flowering season to another? Today, we look forward to the blossoming of our futures while saying goodbye to the fading petals of our past. Right now, we exist in between those two times, stepping away from one and standing on the precipice of the other. It's a wonderful, profound moment in our lives that we've waited for years and will remember for many years after. All of this is to say, simply, that so often we spend most of our time consumed with the past or with the future while neglecting the beauty of the present moment. So, as we look back on our memories with bittersweet fondness, and as we look forward to our futures with trepidation and excitement, let us also celebrate how we are right now, in this very moment, the class of 2022, together as seniors for one last day. Thank you.
us today to provide our keynote address is one of music's most respected, accomplished executives, Jody Gerson, Chairman and CEO of Universal Music Publishing Group, the second largest music publishing company in the world. Ms. Gerson is the first female chairman of a global music company and the first woman to be named CEO of a major music publisher. Since joining UMPG in 2015, Jody has transformed the company into a billion-dollar business and the industry's best global home to songwriters. Leading the acquisition of legendary catalogs of Bob Dylan, Sting, and Neil Diamond, and overseeing the signings and extensions of renowned songwriters from Taylor Swift, Harry Styles, and Alicia Keys, to Elton John, Prince, Lionel Richie, and more. In addition, Ms. Gerson has served as executive producer on numerous television shows and produced the feature films Drumline and ATL. For this work, Gerson made history in 2020 as Billboard's Executive of the Year, becoming the first music publishing executive and first woman to receive this honor. As a Baldwin alum, Jody is also a strong advocate for women's empowerment. She co-founded and serves on the board of directors for She Is the Music, a national nonprofit championing equality and inclusion for women in the industry. She also serves on the boards of the USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Archer School for Girls, and other nonprofits. Of course, we are most proud that she's one of our own. Jody graduated from Baldwin in 1979 as a member of the class of Purple, and we are thrilled that she flew in from Los Angeles to join us today. It is my sincere honor to introduce Jody Gerson.
Good afternoon and congratulations to the Baldwin class of 2022. Thank you, Class of Blue, the Board of Trustees, and faculty for inviting me to be your commencement speaker. A special thank you to Marissa Porges, who personally asked me to be here with you today. It is my honor. As I stand here looking at all of you, I'm flooded with memories of my time at Baldwin. My dear friends, extraordinary teachers who believed in me and encouraged me, a stellar education, and so many experiences that are the foundation of who I am. From the time I could remember, there was an expectation that I would be successful and felt the pressure to succeed. My parents had me when they were fairly young, and looking back, I always felt like the grown-up in my home. I was the one who had to be in control. I was also a natural-born caretaker. I had a younger brother who had a learning difference, and I felt responsible for him. I really did know, deep in my being, that one day I would have to care for my family, and in many ways, that contributed to my tremendous drive to succeed. As I reflect on my own Baldwin commencement, I had big plans for myself. I was going to make an impact. Here's what I may have been thinking that day. Do I look okay? Does my hair look okay? Do I look fat? I'm hungry. 1 cup of coffee with 0-calorie sweetener isn't exactly nourishing. Does anybody here know I have an eating disorder? Why did my best friend Nancy Raines get into Penn and I got rejected? Did I choose the right college after all? Would I be happy at Northwestern? How could I move to Chicago and leave my boyfriend in Philadelphia? We did break up before winter break, freshman year. My fellow classmates saw me as confident and I was popular, but what they didn't know was that I was filled with a lot of self-doubt and felt very alone. I kept those fears and insecurities to myself. High school was demanding, as it is for most kids, especially the pressures of senior year, as you know all too well. But by working through those difficulties, I developed qualities at Baldwin, like resilience and determination, that would ultimately lead to my success. In January 2015, I assumed the role of Chairman and CEO of Universal Music Publishing Group. I am the first woman to run a major music company. Along the way, there were obstacles that tested me, and that included my own anxiety, fear of failure, guilt of letting people down, disappointing my bosses, and the musicians who depended on me. So I have three pieces of advice for you today. The first one is that there will be times when you feel alone. No, you are not alone. You're not alone in those feelings. You don't have to hide them from others. My experience at Northwestern was challenging at first. Second trimester, sophomore year, something happened that changed the course of my life. I was called to the bursar's office. They had not received my tuition. All of my classes were canceled until the tuition was paid. I was devastated. There had to be a misunderstanding. I would call home and my dad would take care of it, which turned out to be wishful thinking. I didn't know what to do. I grew up assuming we were rich, but that turned out to be an illusion. Now what was I going to do? This was a major blow on every possible level, and something I wasn't prepared for at all. I grew up with privilege. These kind of things don't happen to people like me. But yes, they can and they do. I was filled with panic and self-doubt that I couldn't get myself out of this mess. Would I drop out of school? And then what? I couldn't let that happen. The situation was bad. Reflecting on that experience, I honestly don't know how I summoned the strength to figure it out, but I did. Nothing was going to deter me from finishing college. I got a job. At first, I worked in a candy store off campus called JK Sweets that caused me to gain the freshman 20. And then that summer, I found a job at a clothing store in Chicago where I worked until I graduated. It was hard for me to talk about for a long time. I don't know if I told my friends what happened. As was a pattern in my life, I was alone in my deepest thoughts and fears. But that experience ended up being an opportunity for me to use what skills I learned at Baldwin. I was determined and I was resourceful. I persevered. I was able to finish school and gain experience as a salesperson. I had a paycheck and I got a major discount on fabulous clothes. After graduation, I moved to New York with my best friend from Northwestern and started looking for a job. Music had always been my passion, and the music business was where I wanted my career to be. It wasn't easy to find a job. Lots of people wanted to be in the music business, and there were very few openings. I networked like crazy. I was relentless. I interviewed at what seemed like every music company in the city, until one day someone said there was a job opening at Chapel Music. I had never heard of Chapel, but it didn't matter. I didn't care what the job was. I took it and I thrived. I was the first to show up in the office in the morning and the last to leave. At the time, there were very few women in the music industry. It was a man's business, and in some ways it still is. There was one woman at our company who was a department head. I admired her and I looked up to her. I knocked on her office door one day, peeked my head in, and asked for advice. I will never forget her response. I can't help you. You will have to find your own way, just like I did. I'm focused on my career, not yours. It was a major blow. The one woman at the company in a position of power wasn't going to help me. You see, when I started out in the business, a woman who had a job in music wanted to hold on to that job. Another woman seemed like a threat. There weren't that many jobs for us. Anyway, I didn't let her deter me, and I also promised myself that when I'm in a position of power, I would help other women, and it is foundational in everything I do in my career. Which brings me to the second piece of advice. Open doors for other women instead of slamming them shut. Sometimes you learn the best lessons from experiencing the worst in people. After 7 years at Chapel, where I was flourishing, I kept getting passed over for promotions, so I took a position at our competitor, EMI, as head of their music department, where I spent 17 years. I also had my first child, Julian, when I was at EMI. When Julian was 6 months old, I was demoted. My boss told me that he needed someone to play golf with the lawyers and managers and someone who would use the company's Lakers seats. That person would have to be a man, not a woman with a baby. Now, I know this sounds shocking to you. It was over 25 years ago, but here's what else you would be surprised by. I stayed. Why did I stay? A pattern had been established. Some of the qualities that contributed to my success also prevented me from leaving certain situations in my life. Great qualities like loyalty, wanting to please, truly caring about others' well-beings, feeling responsible for my colleagues and our artists, my boss, my family, really putting everybody else's needs before mine. By then, I had a husband and a child of my own and other family members who relied on me. What I also had at the time was self-doubt. Did having a child make me soft, less ambitious, less motivated, less successful than I should have been? Was my boss right about me? Which leads me to my third piece of advice. Don't see your doubts as obstacles. Treat them as opportunities to prove yourself. Like the experiences I had before, especially when I am underestimated. I worked hard, I signed more hits, and supported artists like Pharrell Williams, Jermaine Dupri, TLC, Enrique Iglesias, Alicia Keys, and others. And the guy with whom my boss replaced me with got fired. Actually, the first replacement was a disaster, followed by the second person, also a man, who was even a worse disaster. Eventually, I regained my role as head of the department, and Alicia Keys thanked me at the Grammys. A few years later, my boss, the same one who demoted me, left to go to Sony. A short time later, the new head of EMI wanted his own team and fired me. I couldn't believe it. I was instrumental to the company's success. I signed all of their biggest artists. I panicked. I called my former boss, and he made me a great offer to join him at Sony. I accepted, but honestly, I was nervous. My self-doubt told me I would never have as much success at Sony as I had at EMI. How was I ever going to find another artist who would be bigger than the artist I had left behind at EMI? Well, the first artist I signed when I was at Sony was Lady Gaga. She literally came into my office. She told me she was going to be the biggest artist in the world. And I believed her. I went on to have tremendous success at Sony, even more than I had at EMI. I had a fantastic 6 years of building a great executive team and signing incredible artists. And then my contract was up, and I felt I had leverage. No one at the company had signed as many hits as I had. We were negotiating my new deal, and we just couldn't agree on terms that satisfied me. He said he would pay me more money in lieu of a title change. I said I should get the money and the title change. I know I had a lot of people who depended on me, but I had to stand up for myself and fight for my worth. Continuing the negotiation, I finally found the courage to propose that when he was ready to step down, I succeed him as chairman. He was in his 70s, and here is what he said to me. Absolutely not. I said, why not me? He said, Jody, you're recently divorced. You have 2 children at home. You will meet a guy, and he will have a lot of money and will want to travel. Keep working for me, and you can do whatever you want. I know that's shocking. And by the way, he was right about the boyfriend. Here's the worst part of this story. My old friend's self-doubt agreed with him. I almost succumbed. But then something amazing happened. I walked out of that room and made the decision that I couldn't stay at Sony no matter what he ultimately offered me. In my mind, the negotiation to stay was done. My time there was done. Shortly after that meeting, I was offered the job as chairman and CEO of Universal Music Publishing Group. Trust me, self-doubt was with me every step of the way. Could I actually run a global company with offices in every major territory throughout the world? with 2 kids at home and 1 in college? Could I be even more successful than I'd been this far? Through the years, I had witnessed so many men in our business elevated to roles they seem underqualified for. And based purely on my track record and reputation, I'd often wondered why I was overlooked. But before I accepted that job, I had to tell my boss at Sony I was leaving, which was difficult for me. We had worked together for over 20 years. I had this thing about not wanting to let men down. I know it may sound crazy to you, but self-doubt was right beside me. So what did I do? I came to the East Coast to see my best friend from Baldwin, Nancy Raines. Yep, the one who got into Penn and I didn't. I spent the weekend with Nancy and her family, who supported and comforted me when I was feeling anxiety about telling him I was going to Universal. I went into the city to tell him, and this is how the meeting went. He said, "So what's your decision?" I said, "I'm leaving." He said, "What will you do now that you're leaving the music business?" Leaving the music business? No, I'm leaving to become chairman and CEO of Universal Music, Sony's biggest competitor. He was stunned, and all he could say was, "That's my title." He might as well have said, "Wait, you're a girl. How could you have the same title as me?" So what I've discovered about myself through my journey is that I am strong, I am courageous, I have persistence, perseverance, determination, and I am resilient. I'm a great leader, and I lead my company authentically as a woman with grace, empathy, and integrity, and I am unapologetically ambitious. I care deeply about my colleagues, and I am privileged to represent so many amazing artists. In the 7 years since I joined Universal, we became $1 billion business for the first time in the company's history. We've signed artists such as Kendrick Lamar, Taylor Swift, Harry Styles, Adele, Drake, Billie Eilish, Bad Bunny, SZA, Rosalia, Justin Bieber, The Weeknd, Post Malone, and Coldplay, who I took Nancy to see last night. And bought the songs of Sting and Bob Dylan, one of the greatest songwriters of our time. And I am able to use my position as a platform to show women I am just like you. I tell my story because it might be your story. I may be the first female chairman of a music company, but I won't be the only one. In order to do that, I've made a commitment to tell my story honestly and authentically, to make more female friends and allies, and value my ever-expanding sisterhood of women who I support and who support me, especially when I'm feeling self-doubt, just as my first friend from Baldwin, Nancy, did when I needed her. So, my parting advice to you, class of 2022, your sisterhood started here at Baldwin. Keep growing it, believe in yourself, and when you don't, be honest enough to tell a friend who is invested not only in her success, but in yours. And finally, I tell my 3 incredible children, Julian, Luke, and Daisy, that you don't become extraordinary without having to overcome extraordinary obstacles. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody, for those inspiring words, the personal stories, and sharing your advice that feels so true to all the Baldwin girls here today. I now have the pleasure of welcoming to the podium Pat Weiser, the chair of Baldwin's Board of Trustees and proud parent of 2 Baldwin girls, Kaya, a lifer who is graduating today with our class of 2022, and Allie, who likewise joined us in pre-K and who just completed her sophomore year.
Wow.
Feel a little bit like Albert Brooks in Broadcast News right now. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to thank all of you for being here today to celebrate the class of 2022. Today, I want to briefly speak about three things, because all good speeches speak about three things. The graduates of the class of 2022, their village, and Baldwin. Together, these three things make up the incredible community to which we all belong and always will. Now, in reverse order, Baldwin. When we think of Baldwin, the first picture in many of our heads is likely the iconic residence building and the line of beautiful cherry trees leading to its entrance. Baldwin is obviously not just a building, and not even just a school. Baldwin is a community of people with a common mission: to develop talented girls into confident young women with vision, global understanding, and the competency to make significant and enduring contributions to the world. Who is your community at Baldwin? Your friends, your classmates, teachers, advisors, coaches. Maybe you didn't think about the pictures hanging along the blue hallway as you were racing down it to get to class, but all those people are your community. They all stressed over Magister Kashishian's Latin test, just as many of you did in middle school. And they all complained about uniforms just like you, though doubtful they fought for the right to wear sweatpants quite as hard as you all did. And maybe you didn't think about the photos of the alumni on the walls of the residence and schoolhouse staircases as you went about your busy days. All of these people are your community, forever. As one friend wrote in Kaya's yearbook this year, I won't say goodbye, because 14 years wasn't enough. You are stuck with me forever. Love always. Second, the village. An old proverb tells us that it takes a village to raise a child. This class has had an amazing village, and we have called it that time and time again, since pre-K. Whether you've been here for 4 years or 14, you have been surrounded by people who love you and support you and your families. Every parent, grandparent, aunt, and uncle in this room feels pride and joy for each and every one of you, as if you were our own. We've been here for your triumphs and for your falls, your laughter and your tears. We've cheered at games and performances, had so many parties and so many sleepovers, and done so much carpooling. Thank you all so very much for all of the carpooling. Special thanks to all of you in this village who volunteered time and time again as class moms and dads, running book fairs and galas, trying to make these years fun and special. You succeeded. And now to you, the class of blue. Here you are. You have all arrived in this moment. Some as Baldwin lifers together with one another since you were 4 and 5 years old. And some of you, having seen this special sisterhood from afar, who made the decision to come be part of this class. Today, each of you now shares this special genesis, bonded to one another and the Baldwin community as you embark on your own unique journeys in the world. I came upon the 5th grade yearbook for the class of 22 the other day, and after much smiling and a few tears, I read through the words you used to describe your class. Words that apply every bit today to your now much larger group. Energetic, friendly, awesome, fun, brilliant, compassionate, hardworking, comforting, brave, loyal, unique, crazy, and extraordinary. You are all extraordinary, and will no doubt go on to become leaders in your communities, in your careers, and within your families. Some final advice to the class of 2022. Always remember to laugh. Find joy in every day. Discover the wonder, beauty, and magic that life has to offer. And know that we, your community, are always here for you with the love, support, and faith in all that you can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. for your heartfelt, moving words, for your important message to our extraordinary graduates, and for your steadfast commitment to our school. In particular, as a trustee and as our board chair over the past 2 years. We are grateful for the example of service and leadership that you set, not just for your daughters, but for their classmates and friends, and for our entire community. On a personal note, I so appreciate your partnership, your support, and your laughter over the past few years especially. Your impact is seen not just in the amazing daughters before us, but in all of the graduates we're celebrating today. We have now reached the culmination of today's ceremony, when our seniors officially become Baldwin graduates. As part of this special moment, the school has over time developed a tradition whereby trustees, faculty, staff, and alumni who have daughters and granddaughters graduating are invited to assist in the presentation of diplomas. Today we have 8 seniors whose parents are in those categories. I invite those members of our community to please join me on the stage at this time. I would also like to now introduce Mrs. Christy Reed, Director of Baldwin's Upper School, to preside over the awarding of diplomas for the class of 2022.
Dr. Porges, Ms. Weiser, having examined their records, I can attest that these seniors have fulfilled all the requirements of the Baldwin School and are now prepared to graduate. Will the class of 2022 please prepare for the awarding of the diplomas? Ryan Elizabeth Murphy. Anna Raffaelli. Anna Aguirre Wetzel. Kaya Rose Weiser. Caroline Bay Lingle. Sarah Ying. Samantha Markey Minogue. Sydney Elizabeth Brayman. Grace Wynn Halleck. Isabel Antanavicius. Krisangi Bhargav. Kendall Victoria Brown. Sophie Shui Fei Kai. Samantha Cannon. Emma Lei Chen. Shun Sing Ling. Zien Elva Chen. Happy birthday, Maya Michelle Clever. Emily Cook. Sienna Annalise Curley. Elizabeth Claire Delaney. Karina DeVos. Jacqueline Igia Dichter. Audrey Grace Dixon. Amy Isabel Erskine. Carol Andy Goldenberg. Singlei Howe. Madeline Sydney Haugen. Kieran Lavender Wong. Rahiel Akira Ibikule. Caitlin Rose Johnson. Christy Ann Keslick. Jessica Jane Lamontagne. Blake Madison Landau. Zoe Kraus Leibowitz. Sophia Lee in absentia. Michelle Lujia Kungmin Lee. Megan Suren McGee. Erin Alyssa Mallon. Rebecca Lily McCurdy. Annalise Kaylee McGowan. Kathleen McMahon. Anya Helena Mostek. Shania Mundy. Camille Rose Lee Murray. Caitlin Madison O'Malley. Skylar Paige Ortiz. Clara Alden Page. Avika Pandey. Victoria Bryn Patton. Caroline Grace Prendergast. Gabrielle Rose Pritzker. Indira Nupur Pujar. Savannah Orly Rhodes. Thea Reese Rosenzweig. Devin Rachel Schatzman. Marion Ainsley Steele. Stell Hope Stein. Josephina Christina Stockett. Allie Stoltz. Milan Ariel Thornton. Anna Isabel Vengochea. Anna Wang. Brianna Wright. Abby Shoen Wu. Nahla Anaya Yankoe. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present the class of 2022.
One of Baldwin's most heartwarming traditions is the senior song. A custom where all our seniors' creativity, spirit, and sense of sisterhood come together in a musical piece that they compose themselves. This year with the help of two classmates who today will help conduct them. Our class of Blue did a remarkable job bringing their Baldwin experience to life with their senior song, reflecting on the lasting memories that they have made in Blue and Gray and the pride and strength that come from being Baldwin sisters. Please listen carefully to the words they sing today as our graduates paint a picture of their time together and honor their Baldwin legacy. It reminds us why Baldwin is such a special place to call home. At this time, I invite the class of 2022 to stand and sing their senior song for the last time.
Cry
Please rise for the singing of Baldwin's alma mater and remain standing at your seats at the conclusion until our graduates recess. Joining us today for our 134th commencement. Please remain at your seats until all our graduates have recess.